Welcome again, everyone, to hopefully another interesting conversation and demonstration on Power BI. You know, it's a very popular tool, and how can we use it for effective data visualization? How can we really use it for better decision making? How can we use it as a pitch? Sometimes you want to pitch for an investor and you need to show someone something. How can we pitch it or use it as a tool? And this is a very, very important skill that we have to develop, right? We have to develop skills or practical skills for the environment that we are in. In any environment, so I'm in project management. For those of us who don't know me, my name is Shivani Sinorai, and I'm part of the L&D space, learning and development space. As a project manager, you know, and different areas. But one of my learnings, I will say, always, is when you have to show somebody something, whether it's in project or communicate something to somebody, it must be to catch them, right? You must be able to say, wow, this thing, I understand it. And then I will be able to make a better decision from it. But a lot of the data that we are presenting now, you know, are very static. It's very, very static. You present tables and in Excel, which is great, but even in Excel, you could do better interactive dashboards, we call it. So you have many different tools. And as we go through the Lunch and Learn series, you know, we want to share different tools. We shared, I think, Tableau recently. We looked at Asana. Of course, we always will look at Excel as interactive dashboards. And we've looked at a couple sessions already on Power BI. So we're looking again today on Power BI as a data visualization tool. And what could we use? What could we use it for to make better decisions? I shouldn't say what, but how can we use it that when we see this thing, we say, oh, really? Okay, I could do something with it. So welcome. I'm going to share my screen on Power BI and show us how we can integrate a data set that I've created into Power BI, and we'll show a couple of features there. Of course, there's a lot more to learn. Let me ask anyone, is this your first time? I'm looking at some of the names. I don't know some of the names, but I know some of the names. Do you all have that experience with Power BI? Do you use Power BI? Why do you want to know about it? Kerry Burris, yeah? Is Burris, I'm saying the name correct? Kerry, Chris, anyone would like to jump in? Is this Ambika? I'm seeing is Mutli, am I?
Michelle Mutilal.
Michelle, how are you? I know the voice, yeah, Michelle.
Yes, we use it. I am not familiar, so I want to learn as much as I can.
Welcome. Giselle, Chris, yeah, Chris, you were going to say something, yeah, Giselle?
Hi, good day. I've actually never used Power BI. I'm aware of it, but never used it. So this is a good introduction for me and really good background information for me to start using it a little bit. So looking forward to the information. Thanks.
Yes, great. Chris, you wanted to say something? No. Okay.
Hi, this is Kerry. I've used it once, and yes, I used it once and just happy to learn, more about it.
Great. So keep in mind, everybody, that Power BI is a data visualization tool. We have to be able to learn something to show data. You have to have data in order to visualize it, right? So Power BI can't do anything for you if you do not have data. So some of us who are here in the sessions will always hear me talking like this. You need data. Now, a lot of organizations, Giselle, we are moving away and we helping, right, the situation by moving from the data management concept to knowledge management, where you don't only want to be data-driven, you want to be knowledge-driven. Because over the past 10 years, I've seen you're capturing data, sometimes the data captured wrong, I'm not saying no, but you're capturing data. So you believe that you have data in your organization. but what you're doing about the data. What decisions are you making with the data that you have? What decisions are you really making with the data that you have? So you have to think about it from this point. You have to think about it that you have to build a proper data set. If you do not build a proper data set, this cannot work. So I'm going to share my screen and then I'll show you my data set. My data set, right? Power BI, here we go. Right. And share. So I have Power BI open up, share the screen. Great. And some of us know this interface, some of us don't. Power BI, I'm using the desktop version. It's a free version. You can just go and download it. It's a very good version. Of course, you wouldn't get the updates from Microsoft, and there are different updates, you know, and then, I mean, you'll have to pay for that version, the enterprise version as well. But this can work as an introductory, more than good, right? So the first aspect, some of us here have been in the training with Power BI with me, so you know, you may know these, you know, you will know some of these things already, but I just want to go through it a little bit, right? Which is, you're going to pull data from Excel into Power BI. And how do I do that? Right here, I'm seeing the word get data. I'm going to click on get data. Now you have Excel data coming up right there. So when I click on get data, you'll see in my screen, right? Daniel, Ambika?
Yes, yes, we see it.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
Right. So I'm going to click on Excel workbook, right? Because it's an Excel workbook. And I'm going to look for a data set that I have here, which is data set for Power BI. It's just a small data set that I just downloaded here to use. So data set for Power BI, I'm going to click on it and click open. Great. So it's coming up here. Suggestions, country. Yeah, let me click on this one, which is the only one that I have. So data set. Now we want to use the word data set. You want to be able to use the jargon, right? That's what I want you all to note. You want to be able to use the jargon. So I'm going to click on a little arrow there. Then I'm going to say load, right? Because I have to load the data into Power BI. So I'm loading the data into Power BI now. It came in, no problem, it's there. How do I really know it's there now, Daniel? On the left-hand side, I am seeing three icons here. You are seeing report view, data view, and model view. Right? So you have report view, data view, and model view, right? You have to have a data model now. This is just one spreadsheet with information that I have imported, but you can have multiple spreadsheets and you need to have a connection in order to integrate the data. But for now, I'm just using one sheet, right? Let me click on data view and you could see the data. Right, so the data is this. So what is the word that we're using when you're building this? What are you building to use? Ambika, what is the word? Anybody, what's the word? It's a data set, right? This is something that you should spend a lot of time on building the proper data set. So when you want to use any tool, whether you're using Tableau or Power BI or even Excel interactive dashboards or Asana, whatever tool you're using, and there are many different tools that you could use, you have to now know what? You have to be able to build the proper data set, because if the data is not present, you cannot run a report on it. That's just what it is. You have to have the data. And that's why we keep saying, Josiah, is moving from data-driven to knowledge-driven. So step one, this is not no miracle tool, you know. Yes, you have AI and all these things, but you will have the technology. And if you do not have the data, you would not be able to ask the correct questions. So we may have a lot of international data on many different things, right? And therefore you could say the AI, wow, the AI working. You could get the data on these things. But from a Caribbean-based perspective, once you do not have that type of data, the tool is nothing. The tool will not work to how it's supposed to work. So that's why we are focusing on, Michelle, having a proper data set. And you have to learn to build your data sets, right? So you have country, I have products, unit sold. This is a popular one that I always use. Unit sold, revenue per cookie, right? Revenue. I even have profit, date. Right, great. So this is a data set that I would have right here in Excel. And all I did was what? Bring it across now into Excel, sorry, Power BI. So you have country, products. So you have the different products, all of chocolate chip. You have, yes, well, I have different types of product, sugar, cookies, and things, probably oatmeal and stuff, right? And then you have revenue. I also have profit. I have profit, yes, I did. So how do I remove this data view? Because there are three views on the left-hand side. You have what? Report view, you have data view, and you have model view, right? So on the left, you have these three icons: model view, data view, and report view. So if I click now on data view, this is what I came up. I have all the data that I brought across. I can go to model, and model will have country sheet. Well, it double up, but it's really supposed to have been one. But what I'm saying is you could have many different tables, and you can just say one-to-one relationship, etc., right? And you'll be able to pull the data or create a report on different tables. But this is just one table I have. I'm going to report view, because in report view, Chris, I will do my report. So what are your learnings thus far? What are your key takeaways up to this point? Is to show us Power BI, which you are seeing here. And we are saying in order for this Power BI to work, you need to have data. You need to build a data set, right? You need to build a data set. I build a data set in Excel and simply export it, or import it, I should say, into Power BI. We have shown three views. You have data view, you have model view, and you have report view. The data view is where when you open up the table, you may go now and check a couple things in it. I will create the report in report view. Model view, MODEL, model view will be, if I had multiple spreadsheets or multiple tables, I need to show some type of connection to run the report. But for now, just for a demonstration, we're using one table. That's a simple way again to do it. I'm going to click on report view, and I'm going to try to build my report now, right? So on the right, I'm seeing the word visualization, and I'm seeing the word data. Visualization and data. So it is country sheet, right? I am in the correct thing here. Data. I want to be able to pull up a field. That's what I want to do, right? So what is the field that I want? I'm just going to click on country sheet 1. I'm not seeing my fields coming up. Let me check back. So I'll just say search for profit, because I think I have profit in it. Yeah, look, profit right here. So if I'm not seeing everything, I'll just search for profit, right? So I'm clicking on profit. Right, so I'm searching for that, great. And as I did that, something appears on my screen just by selecting profit as a data field. I just search on it. I wanted to list all my fields, but let me see why. Right, so you're seeing something appearing as the sum of all profit. I'm deselecting that now, right? I'm seeing it coming up, where I can see the different fields below. Add data fields to the axis. Before I do that, let me look for a bar. I think this is a bar chart, yeah. But I can probably click on now a line chart. My line chart. So you have all these these are your charts here, different types of charts, right? I think I have line right. No, that's not line. Yes, line chart. You're seeing a line chart that is appearing. Right. So you are having profit. I want to look at profit. Now seeing an axis appearing, X and Y axis, where I could add some data fields to this thing, because I have no data fields added here. Add data. So what I'm trying to get at, everybody, I need to add my data. I need to see my data fields. I'm not seeing all my data fields. Right, so as I'm pulling it up, anyone can just tell us what you're retaining so far and what are we trying to do. Ambika, anyone? So talk a little bit, let me hear you all. You know, we want to be very interactive. What are we trying to do? Yeah, Mark, I saw Mark, you joining. Anything you want to say what we're trying to do here? What are your learning so far? Chris?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I see
essentially
it
we're
coming
using the
up.
data and we want to now visualize it, or given that the data is put together, what we can see, provided that they are linked, and how many different options we have to visualize them. That can
Right.
give us a better message or a greater appreciation for what the data tells us and creating information.
Right, so all I did was click on country here, and I want to be able to see my fields, right? So the fields that I had was where? So I clicked on country and I'm seeing costs. I'm seeing cost per cookie. I'm seeing date, right? So it's coming up. So what I wanted to show here as a field, as we said, I want profit, right? So profit coming up, but I also want profit by date. So all I did was to click now on date, right? Profit by date. So the fields were supposed to appear on my right-hand side. Is when I clicked twice, it came up. And all I'm saying is profit by date. But what you have to remember, profit by date, I must have those things in the data set. Otherwise, Michelle, I couldn't bring it up. So I'm seeing it coming up here as what? This is a line chart, right? This is a line chart, and I'm seeing information coming up. You know, look, it's coming up already. Great. So this is a line chart, and I just select the fields, bam, profit and date, and this comes up for me in a line chart. That's what I want you all to see. Right, great. Next one I want to look at is a map. A map was a very good feature here. So let me look for map. A map. Tell me if you've seen it when I look. Map. Right. So yeah, Michelle, what you getting from this conversation so far?
I'm starting to see visual representation of data that you have. when you're
Right.
building your data sets.
Right. So you're building your data set, right?
Yep.
And all we are saying, I could have profit by date on top. I'm coming below because I want to create now a map as an automatic feature here where I can show geographies. I think I have it by country in this data set. Yeah. And I can now look for country. Yes, look, country right here. All right. So I had something disabled in it. That's why you're not seeing it coming up, right? But to do that feature, all I have to do was to go to a map and just select the country and you'll literally see it coming up. Let me undo this. Right, so this was a map, the map feature, and all I did was to click on country and you will see all the countries that you have. Now, of course, is what you have on your data set for it. What you have on your data set. Right, so it's not coming up because I have a setting that's off. Great. Another tool that I want to show is a table. I want to click on table. Right, so it changed to a table, right? Now, what do I want to put in this table? What do I want to put on the table? I can show, well, let me look at revenue. Yeah. Revenue. So I've seen sum of revenue. I can click on country. Yeah. Click on country here and I can add something right here to it. So making a little more sense now with this table, which is all the, yeah, so it sums up the profit that each country brought in. That's what this is doing. So this is a table view, right? This is a table view. So 3 icons or 3 aspects of tools that we showed so far with Power BI. What are they? We showed a line chart or a bar chart. Then we were showing that you have a map as a feature, and now you have a table as a feature, a table. Now there was something even more interesting, which is to insert a Q&A. Let's see how this Q&A works, right? I'm going to click on insert Q&A. Right, and you're seeing something comes up here. All right, let me try to bring it down so that I could view it better. So insert Q&A. So I want to ask a question, right? What question could I ask? Revenue. Revenue. Did I spell revenue correct? No. R-E-V-E-N-U-E. Per country. Yeah. And look at what is happening. What you realize is happening when I am typing a question. What you realize is happening. You realize anything happening, Chris? No? You realize anything happening, Chris? Josiah, you realize anything? That's just
Yeah, it started building a visual.
Yeah, by just me asking a question. Now, this is the AI
Yeah.
feature in Power BI, right? By just saying insert Q&A, it comes up for you. It comes up for you. So I wanted to introduce this as a very important tool in Power BI. Well, it's an easy way, right, to learn. So you could just go to Q&A and you would see it coming up there. Now, this is another nice feature. Look at it here. Teach is a setting. It's a setting where you have teach Q&A to understand people better, review questions people have asked, and manage terms you have added. Right, so I have to click on the settings, and you will see add terms people might use as synonyms for the fields. Review questions people have asked, and fix misunderstandings. So it's like you're telling Power BI, because sometimes we may use a particular term that they don't understand. Remember, we may speak in a colloquial way. So you have to now write in a synonym that Power BI really could now understand, because sometimes if I write it, they may not understand some of the words. So look, even you're teaching Power BI to ask you a question that you could understand it. So field synonyms, get more synonyms, so you could look at this in a little more detail. So I just wanted to just do a quick understanding of that, right? So country, right? Look at all here, so you could include it. You have cost, right? So everything is supposed to be included. Add. So for the word unit sold, I could add a synonym similar to that, so that if I did not pull up the word unit sold, I could write in your name or something similar, and it will work. So let me just say Shivani. I mean, that don't make any sense, but I just want to show you that a synonym, the unit sold, is Shivani, right? And I want to just add that, right? So that's added. I come down. Right, so include in the Q&A. So I wanna be, if I write in Shivani, should happen now for unit sold. Where did I move that to? Right, well, it's on. Well, I took it off, but it's on now, right? So I've added that, right? I've added one. So let me close that off. And let me type in now Shivani. So it's working on it, right? Let me see if it works. So I'll say Shivani. Right. So when I type in the word Shivani, it came up as 733, I think, thousand. Probably that's the total number of units sold. Right. So look at how just by changing the word synonym, you could now write in what you could pull up the data. This is such interesting stuff. How did I get this again? What did I do? Remind me, come on. Michelle, yeah? Ambika, Giselle? Chris? What are we trying to do here? Come on, let's go good.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is to ask the platform to be, well, using the AI function, we ask questions and then it generates the visual for us. So like in the example, you use revenue, it picks up the revenue line and about the data based on the data set, what we have as revenue, the different countries. Yeah?
Yes, exactly. Right. And all I did was go to insert Q&A and I could type a question, bam, and things come up. What is the total country profit? Look, it even gives me some kind of, it gives me automatic questions as well. So let me just click on it and see. So it's summing up again certain things for you, right? Then you could have, let me ask, so we said we went to teach Q&A like a settings, and we are changing field synonyms. Okay. I went to field synonyms. I'm clicking on country sheet because this is where all my data is. And it's just looking at alternative words for what I have here. This is something with your data set to really play on with more, so that you may want to use certain words, might be easy to remember. Because sometimes you have all this data set built in there and the words are, you know, you want something easy to remember. So you could have synonyms, or even if you have another word for cost, you could put a synonym. So you creating your own synonyms. That's what we're saying, right? All right, X this off. So we went to insert Q&A. I'm going back to settings because I have also like teach Q&A to understand questions and terms people might use. So what are some, you see, you're telling Power BI, you're really making the work easy, even easier now. So enter a question about your data using everyday language. So what is the cost of each product? Yeah. Now remember, I know my data, right? So that's why I could see that. What is the cost of each product? So submit it. Look, it's previewing your result right here. It previews your result. So exit off. And now I'm going back to where it was, and I'm going to write in what is the cost of each product, I think. Yeah, so it's bringing it up on the left-hand side. I think I put too much information. So I'm trying to ask the same question that I just said that I wanted to be able to do. What is the cost? Was it the cost, COST, of each product? Yeah, and look, it came up now, right? Because why? I built in that question in as part of my settings. So look how great this thing is. So you see, people don't, I always like to say people don't know what they don't know, right? So we're making Power BI even more intuitive, for lack of a better word. I guess that's the word I'm trying to get at, intuitive, where now you could tell the program, hey, I want to be able to ask that question. Bam, you go and you ask it, and you get your result. So what I would like us to do more of as you go down and you practice, you look at settings, right? You look at settings, and you could look at field synonyms, review questions, teach Q&A, and suggest questions, where you could suggest questions. So you may have, remember, this Power BI as a data visualization tool is for loads and loads and loads of data. So at the end of the day now, if you have it for loads of data, you want to be able to ask certain questions, and you could get the answer. Insert Q&A. What do you think about that feature, Mark? Insert Q&A.
Yeah, I like that.
You use it?
Yeah, I can see myself using that a lot because it kind of helps you. It helps the program to understand what you're looking for. And in turn, with practice, it will help you to understand, well, or to know what to ask.
Yeah, what to ask. So you're building it in. It's like programming in a way, but programming with English, right? Programming with plain English. You ever saw this feature before?
I saw it, but I never tried it.
Right, so now you'll try it. And you have the settings that you could select. It's a very good feature. Well, I'm sure you agree.
Oh yeah, I see great value in this aspect.
Right. So all we are looking at, I went to insert everybody Q&A, and I have to go to settings on the right hand side. I must do that, right? Teach Q&A. to understand people better, review questions people have asked, and manage terms that you have added. And right here, you can change. It comes like changing the settings, yeah? Changing the settings or adding things to the settings. Michelle, what do you think about this? This
Well,
feature.
Shivani, it's very useful. I can see this being a productivity tool where you're able to ask and get good answers based on your data set, what you created.
Mhm. But again, you must have good data, right? So we
Yes.
always focus on that. You have to build your data set. So you have a sales, you want to look at sales for your company, because I know you may be involved in that type of business. If you're involved in sales, you have to have the data first, because you can't ask any questions if you don't have data, right? You could ask the questions, but nothing will come up. You get what we're saying, right, Michelle?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So you must have the data. You must build a proper data set. And that's why we will always talk about, you have all of this nice AI and everything. Everything is great. AI will work, but we need to build data. So this is a job that, you know, we can get more in, which is learning how to build data sets. And data sets is just being able to ask the questions, putting in the information, and then you will be able to use any tool. So the tools is only good as how good we are, right? If you don't have the data. So right now, I'm doing a lot of work with AI for project management, right? In projects, and you're looking at creating some data. So that one of my pet peeves is that if I go and I Google, right? If I Google and I say I want to have a case study on some of the lessons learned in construction, I rarely will get things Caribbean based. I'll get more things international. So how could we, if we are in the region, how could we learn from those things? You have to have the data. So these tools will only work if you have data, because if not, we will keep getting information that is not, you know, for our region and some of the lessons learned, which, you know, will improve over time. So again, Power BI is a tool. It is a data visualization tool. You do very, very good reports in it, but you must have the data to do that. So what are your key takeaways for today, everybody? I'm already looking at the time. We went very quickly here. What are your key takeaways for today? As I said, we'll send a recording once you have registered, so you could listen and hear it over. What are the key takeaways? People came in late, so we hope that, you know, you at least take it away one thing. Ambika, any key takeaway from you so far? Giselle?
The program allows for you to actually visualize a data set, and it can actually make the assumptions for you or provide information for you without actually much on your end. So once the data itself makes sense, then the information it gives you is what you could use make your decisions.
Exactly. But other key takeaways, instead of just using Q&A, we are saying once you have the data, we learn 3 different charts then, right? We learn how to create a line chart. We learn how to create a table, and we also introduce a map where you could have seen by geography what you sold more or the other. Now that was you'll have, I know, depending on the region that you are, there's a tool where you have to integrate the map into it, right? But because you'll just see the US map here. But it could be done, but it's something that you'll have to integrate a map for where you want, you know, because a lot of different big organizations, you're working on projects and stuff, you'll want to have for the region, the particular map you're in. Then the country, sorry. Then we spoke about this wonderful Q&A, where we learn to write, not to write, to ask questions, and things came up. Right. Now there's another nice feature that I just want to introduce, which is smart narrative. And you know what I did? All I did was go to insert smart narrative, and you're sort of getting a little narrative on what chart you have here, you know, because this was on and it came up. Let me do it over because you all may not have been watching it. I'm going to undo. Right. So this was what it is. Chocolate chip, I think. This is products and then the cost of each product, right? So this is selected. I think this is what's selected. So I went to insert and I went to smart narrative. And something coming up here. It's writing it down. I could write down more. Add value. Right. Ask a question about your data. Name your. Right. So cancel. We are saying you could have a smart narrative. We call it smart because it's writing it down for you. It's telling you certain things, right? So it writes up something on the data a little bit, but that's a feature that we will build on more, right? You have to build on that feature where you could write a lot of information will come up on it. So key takeaways. Mark, your mic's open. You wanted to say something? Oh, it wasn't. No. No, okay.
Sorry, what's that?
No, I thought you were going to ask something.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Right. So key takeaways for today's conversation, everybody, is Power BI. One, first objective we showed is that you should be able to build a proper data set. Well, you have to build a proper data set, I should say. Two, we exported it into Excel, from Excel into Power BI. Three, we introduced 3 tools on the left-hand side, or 3 icons: report view, model view, and data view. Data view was the whole data set. Report view is where you start to build. We built a report, but you have to add fields to it, right? You must have your fields on the right-hand side. And the report, we showed charts. One chart was the line chart or bar chart. Another one was a table. And the third was a map. Then we introduced Q&A. And Q&A, you ask a question, bam, you get the information. We also, little bit, just showed you smart narrative, where it sums up the data and it writes something for you. So there's such great stuff on this thing, right? That's what I want you all to remember. Great things with Power BI. So it was just a 45-minute demonstration because I know people are getting back to their job and, you know, lunchtime is probably over for some people. So I wish to say thanks for participating in this Lunch and Learn. The recording will be sent. And if you all are interested, we have a training that is coming up on August the 5th, which is for 4 sessions on Power BI. So you could always contact me if you want to get more information on that. But the recording will be sent to everybody. Any questions, anyone? No questions? Chris, Giselle, Kerry?
I'm good. I'm good.
from
Thanks,
me.
man.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so
I'm okay as well. Thanks a lot.
right. So hope to see you in the upcoming training. We have, as I said, August the 5th on Power BI for 4 sessions. That's a Monday. Yeah. And we'll do some more Lunch and Learn. Look out for some more. Keep registering. Even if you can't come, you will get the recording, right? And, you know, we could continue with our great learners.
We could get details on it, like a city course and so forth.
I didn't hear you.
The cost for the 4-day program, how many hours per day will it be?
Right. So it's four sessions, right? 4 sessions. It's 3. So that's 4 by 3, 12 hours, right? Now, if you sign up, we have a discount code. If you let me know, I'll give you all the discount code. Well, the cost is $1,100 that we have it for, but there's a discount code for 30% off for those of us who have attended the Lunch and Learn. 30% off it. All right? So I hope that you do sign up for it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
And stay in touch, everyone. Thanks
All right,
again.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.